The good news is the switchboard, as a good radio term, is lighting up, and we've got some people who are ready to come and ask you a question directly. So, Mr. Pico, could you please? I think we'll start with Josh T. So if you could drag Josh T up, and then we'll get Josh T.
I have.
Hello, Josh. You're
Yes.
live
Hello.
on the FE bar. Please do not swear. Tom is here.
I would
Fire
like
away
to
your
say,
question.
I would like to say I love how we're doing that. You're live. Please do not swear on the night Celebrity Big Brother is launching.
Yes.
Just quite like that. Sorry, Josh. Fire away.
Fire away.
So, the favourite track you have commentated at trackside, Tom?
Oh, trackside. Okay, so that discounts some of the circuits because I've commentated on things like Spa and Monaco so far, but I've actually been in studios in London. Trackside, though, that's a really good question. Let me think. Okay, so Portimao is a really cool circuit because it's a roller coaster. I actually hold the lap record in a Nissan Qashqai there from 2018 as well, where I basically drove the thing around on its wing mirrors, much to the chagrin of my bosses. So that's a really cool circuit. Let me think where else. Laguna Seca. It's got to be Laguna Seca, actually. I did World Supers back in 2018, and that is such a fucking cool place. Like, honestly, it is unbelievable. I went and did a lap in a rental car, and you think, okay, this isn't that steep. And you're climbing up to the corkscrew, and you think, bloody hell, this thing is never... And you're looking up here, and it's unbelievable. I got out and I took a water bottle that I had and I just rolled it down. And obviously, I can't remember how many stories it drops now, but it is just the most unbelievable place. And, you know, at the time we had 1,000cc, 200 horsepower super bikes racing around there. That must be like riding a bicycle around your living room. So, yeah, that for me was the zenith. That was probably one of the coolest tracks.
No, just to follow up on that, the Laguna Seca, I've been there once, and my Facebook profile picture was for a while was me at the corkscrew. Love that.
Josh, we were talking earlier about, and I forgot to mention it because we were talking about cooking right at the beginning of the show, right? So I'm going to go back to cooking. What is your... do you cook? Two, if you do cook, what's something that Tom should go and try making?
Ooh, well, you've actually chosen the right person because I am doing GCSE food tech right now.
Right, we're ready, right? We're ready for a Gordon Ramsay type recipe here, right? Get ready for your GCSEs. Go smash it right now.
Chicken noodle stir fry.
How?
And-
Come, tell me how do we do it? Go on. What's your ingredients? Come on, tell me. Tom's eager to find out more.
I don't have the recipe with me. Okay.
Jack's writing notes.
Wait, we're failing our GCSEs here if we don't have the recipe with us. Come on.
Less Gordon Ramsay, more Gordon Bennett at the moment, isn't it?
Okay, so put the noodles in, put the chicken in, let them fry together so all the juices mix, and put all the stuff in like peppers, onions, garlic. Then make it all make it all stir fry, and you can customize it as well. And what I do actually have is the dessert recipe somewhere.
Ooh, what's on dessert?
New York
chicken,
City style thick mini egg cookies for Easter.
That's something I can get behind.
Yeah.
If it's loading up.
Have you seen the cream egg cookies you can get at Domino's at the moment as well? They seem like a bit...
I want to get them.
That looks terrible. I'm sorry, that looks terrible.
No. I want to get them. I want to get them at some point.
I saw that. I was like,
No,
no,
I
that
reckon-
can't be good.
I reckon you can make a caramel egg one. I have to be honest, I do make some belting cookies. I tell you what, Pico, for London, I'll bake some cookies and I'll bring them up, and then you can sample them. And you know, they're so good you can't even taste the arsenic in them nowadays.
Brilliant. We got cookies for London. I can't wait. I will say also, Josh, you're in very good company. I also did food tech GCSE,
Nice.
but try do better than me because I got a D. I failed at cooking.
He burnt.
Like,
You got the D.
He burnt.
You got the
burnt
D in
soup.
food tech.
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
You got the D in food tech.
Yeah.
All right. Speak for yourself.
All
I've now
right.
got a
But-
restraining order.
Perfect. Right. We're good. Josh, I'm gonna have to move on there because we've got a couple more people that I want to get to. But thank you
Yep,
so much.
no worries.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Lovely to chat to you, Josh. Thanks for your question.
No worries.
Should we bring up Natalie? I'd like to talk to Natalie. Natalie is like an
Okay.
Envision Racing super fan. I've seen her before. Around the paddock.
Right. And let's bring Natalie in.
Natalie, you're
Natalie, you're
live
on.
on the FE bar. Please do not swear. Tom, what is your question for Tom? Oh, she's muted. You got to unmute yourself, Natalie. What? You can't speak if you're muted.
This is where she's actually
There we
eating
go.
pre-made cookies.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Natalie, hello. How are you?
I'm alright, Pico, or Jack, how are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. And look, it's hard to distinguish between both of us, especially when one's not in the call and both got ginger hair. So I don't blame you. What's your question for Tom?
Right, evening, Tom. With Sao Paulo coming up, have you been to Brazil before? What are your predictions for the race?
Oh, okay, right. No, I've never been to Brazil before, so new country for me. Very excited about it. Hoping to try and get to the beach if I can, because Brazil. So predictions for the race. Well,
Before you do it, Tom, I just want to remind you that Natalie's an Envision fan.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Noted. Well, the Jaguar powertrains have been strong this year, so there's no reason why they
Very
shouldn't
strong
continue.
last year as well in Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Quite, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be. Also, if we look at the style of race it was last year, it was a very peloton style race. I reckon that's probably going to be a similar sort of thing this year. Brazil's a very fast track, it's very Formula E actually, very flat out, lots of opportunities for a bit of chaos. So qualifying is going to be really important, but also I think we're going to have a bit of a Portland where you're going to get drivers that won't necessarily want to lead. And as I mentioned earlier on, the man that's really good at that is Nick Cassidy. So I think he could do quite well. But Freintz as well and Buemi, you can never discount them, can you? I mean, Freintz, he's had a bit of a rocky start to the year, but now he's getting there, isn't he? So I think that we could see the Jaguars up there. I'd like to see Porsche come back. I tell you who I really want to see is I want to see Da Costa getting some points on the board.
Yeah, he's had a bit of an awkward start to the season, hasn't he?
He's had a dog's dinner. He needs to get some points on the board and try and get out of the rut that he's in, which he's been really open about actually as well. So I think we're going to see a really interesting race, and I think it's going to be a case of who is the smartest in terms of saving their energy and timing it right. Sit there behind the other cars, wait for the right moments to lead, and so on. So I think that's the kind of race we're going to see. But Jaguar, Porsche powertrains, that seems to be the story of the season so far. So I'd expect that to probably continue.
And I am going to be a bit biased in what I'm about to say, but in previous years, Envision haven't started that well, but come the end of the season, they've been up there, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see Envision do well, but I'd say that as an Envision racing superfan. But also McLaren, because Sam and Jake have also had a good start to the season as well.
Did you know the Nissan power unit was, I believe, if I read correctly, it was the most efficient overall in Diriyah.
Yeah.
So I think that they've got a really good base there. Again, if it comes down to energy management and they can, get themselves sorted, you've got one of the most experienced drivers in Sam Bird on one side of the garage who knows Formula E inside out. Never discount him. And Jake, as you know, qualifying I think is going to be hugely important. If he can stick that car at the sharp end of the grid like he did so much last year, there's no reason why they couldn't feature quite heavily.
And also, with Sam being reunited with Stephen Lane, who he worked out with Envision for 2 years prior to him leaving for Jaguar, that's also worked really well driver-engineer-wise.
I think the synergy between a driver and an engineer is hugely important. I need to apologise to Stephen Lane, actually, because I called him Mark Lane on the broadcast, who, as I understand, works for Alpine. I don't quite know where I got that one from. But again, that's one of those mistakes that you make. It's one of those mistakes you make during commentary.
Yeah, Mum and I were like, Tom, no.
No, wrong lane.
Yeah,
Wrong lane.
That's
And
that's
let
that's
you
me
know.
saying 3 o'clock driving home. Just like, oh, wrong lane. Next
Yeah.
one.
Perfect.
So why are the cars coming towards me? What's this all about?
No, don't say that. Jack will remember very well that we almost had that in Valencia.
Oh yes. Oh
yeah.
yes.
The less
Driving on the
said,
wrong
the
side
better.
of the road in pre-season testing is not the way to go. Because we
No,
not good, not good,
Not good.
not good, not good.
Um,
And then
Yeah.
obviously I had the chance to meet Stephen Lane in London last year. He was one of the nicest guys in the paddock, honestly. He was so sweet and he had time for me, which some people don't.
Awesome.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's really nice to hear.
That's great.
Natalie, I'm gonna have to let you go, but it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Pleasure's also mine as always, lads. It's been fun.
Perfect.
Lovely to chat to you, Natalie. Thanks so much for your questions.
Cheers, Natalie. We'll see you later.
Right.
See you in London.
See you later.
Right.
What we're going to do?
2 seconds, Jack. I will just say that we have had a couple questions in the chat very quickly. Tom, what's your favourite dinosaur?
Can I say turkey? I'll do like a turkey dinosaur. No? Is
Oh,
that allowed?
Yeah.
Hey.
I say that's allowed.
I hope Jamie Oliver's not watching. I'm going to get banned otherwise.
Yeah. Someone's also put a MotoGP style question as well. Thoughts on KTM having various teams rebranded as other brands of the same group? Should that be allowed with Tech 3 Gas coming in? I think Aspar going to Moto. Yeah. Should and Dorna not allowing more bikes in MotoGP? I think that's to do with not having a satellite Yamaha team last year. Because I think Pons was rumored for that, but.
Yeah, there's always rumours flying around the paddock. How reliable they actually are is another matter. I think, just going to the first question there, KTM rebranded bikes, it makes sense because there's always a market somewhere that might not necessarily be where we are, and you have to consider that Gas is a name with a lot of heritage. From a marketing perspective, it's probably easier for then teams to attract sponsors with a historic name and so on, and there's probably a thing of oversaturation as well. If you have 4 KTMs, is that going to be as effective as having a KTM and a Gas, especially if they're then going to look at Gas and relaunching that brand in another market, even if it is just a KTM with another name slapped on it. I mean, this goes back years ago when they used to rebrand KTMs as Husqvarnas in Moto 3. Husqvarna also make bloody leaf blowers and chainsaws and all sorts, but they happen to make really good dirt bikes as well, and it caters for a market. There's always a reason logically behind all of these things, so I don't personally see a problem with it. So yeah, it's never bothered me, and I think that there is always some sense into it, otherwise they just wouldn't do it. And then just going to the last question as well, what do I think about them? If they didn't allow a satellite Yamaha team in, well, I mean, I always wanted to see a satellite Suzuki team in, and now we've got no Suzuki teams in, which is a bit of a shame. So yeah, I don't really know how I feel about that, to be completely honest. There's a lot of Ducatis on the grid, but the reason there's a lot of Ducatis on the grid is because Ducati are bloody winning everything because they're so good. If you rewind 10 years ago, 2014, nobody wanted to ride that Ducati, and the fact that Gigi Dall'Igna and the whole team in Bologna have been able to just take the ball by the horns and develop a absolute class-leading motorcycle is incredible. So more power to them. And MotoGP is a very interesting product at the moment. The racing is still generally pretty good. I still don't think it's as good as it was in sort of 2016, 17 before the aero kit kind of came in from a personal perspective, but I get why people want to watch it. I just hope that they are able to rein in the regulations enough so that the racing stays close and competitive, and it doesn't become too much a case of riders not able to follow each other because of dirty air and outbreak each other because they've got aero wash and stuff like that. We already saw that a bit last year, and there's a danger of that going a bit too far, in my opinion.
Okay, so what we're going to do, because we were going to speak to Nick Golding at 9, but what we'll do is we'll rattle through the rest of the callers. So I think if we can get Saz in up in next, we'll rattle through the callers, then we'll go for a break, and then we'll get Nick Golding in from E-Racing 365 News. I think
Right. I will say
Saz is deafened. I know she's deaf. I know she's deafened, but I can see her chatting in chat. So hopefully, this is your warning call, Saz, to get undeafened. Saz,
Right.
this is your chance. She can't hear us technically, but hopefully she can hear us on the show. There we go.
There we
Saz, welcome to the
Hello.
FE bar. Hello.
Oh, hello, thank you. Happy to be here.
Excellent. What's your question for Tom? Oh, it's a deadly silence.
Oh, hang on. What do I need to press?
Oh. Have you got push to talk on? I think might have push to talk on. If not, Saz, we can come back to you and we can get someone else in.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Nice and clear.
Yay! Success. Okay, so my first question is. Hang on. Okay, got it. Right. My first question is, what event of any type would you most like to commentate on? Could be concert, another sporting event, big moment.
That's a really good question. I think every commentator would love to do 3 events, and that's probably the Triple Crown. Obviously, Indy 500, Monaco Grand Prix, and so on, which would be really good. I think Le Mans would be really cool as well, because who wouldn't want to have on their CV that they've called Le Mans? Oh, in terms of another
24 hours. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. For the whole 24 hours, I'll just start and drink Red Bull continuously, one can an hour, and just see how much of the jitters I've got.
I did that once.
Did you?
Never again. Yeah.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. Really bad
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, not good. Not good. There are so many motorsport events I'd love to commentate on, but look, I don't look at it from a point of view that I want to commentate on this, and if I don't get there, then I've failed, because that's not just how I look at my life, really. I just want to have fun with what I do. And one of the things a music teacher taught me when I was at school, actually, he's actually now a good mate of mine. We go motorbike riding and everything. But he said, he was a musician, quite a successful musician. And I said, are you famous? And he said, well, no, I'm not famous, but I'm successful. I've been able to sell a few albums and keep a roof over my head, and I've got an amazing family. And that just really struck a chord with me. So, I have no desire to be famous or anything like that. I just want to be good at what I do. And that comes with enjoying the journey along the way. So whether that means I do commentate on Le Mans or the Indy 500 or the Monaco Grand Prix or whatever it might happen to be at some point, then that's amazing. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, So, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one to kind of say I don't really have any specific goals of things I want to do, but I just try and go with the flow. Life is unpredictable.
Sounds good. Well, I hope you get to commentate them, but like I said, it's a good attitude. And my next question is, when you're commentating on the races, how do you follow the races? Do you use live time in the screen, or just watch what's going on the track if you're there?
So within the commentary box of Formula E, we've got, I think, 5 screens or something along the lines of that, which is a bit chaotic. So we've got two timing screens, because obviously there's, we've got 2 commentators, so each one needs a timing screen. We've got what they call the international feed, which is the same feed that you see at home, but the way that it's produced at Formula E is we produce everything on track. That gets sent to a what do you call it? Not a broadcast truck, but it gets sent to like a broadcast center on site, and then that gets sent back down to London, where they then add the graphics and the team radio and all of those sorts of things, and then it gets sent back to wherever our location is. So we've got 2 screens within the commentary box at the moment where we'll have an international feed, but the problem is, because it gets sent to London and then sent back to us, there's a delay of about 2 seconds, which is why when some people have said, oh, you keep crashing the team radio, that's why we keep crashing the team radio. It's not our fault. It's because it keeps because there's a delay and we don't hear it until later. They're trying to work on it. It's a bit of a logistical nightmare. But yeah, that's kind of that. So we've got that, and then we've got what they call the dirty track feed above that, which is not delayed. It's produced at the circuit. It's got graphics on it, but it doesn't have onboard. It doesn't have replays and so on. So that's kind of what we'll use to commentate on, and then that'll be above the international feed. So you're kind of flitting between the two like that, playing tennis with your eyes. And then we've got another screen over the other side where we'll have a track map, and it will have like yellow flag at sector 2 or yellow flag here or whatever, driver whatever number whatever has gone off and so on. So there's loads of different things going on, plus then you've got your commentary panel where you've got your headset and all your volumes, which you've got 3 producers talking to you at any one time and so on. So yeah, it's a fast and frantic thing going on.
Wow, that sounds complicated.
It's definitely a challenge, but it's one of the things that you do with the job, and it's. Don't get me wrong, I get it all the time because I'll be sat there at home and I'll be screaming at the TV when a commentator misses something. But there's so much going on when you're actually doing the bloody job that it's quite easy to miss something. And also, when you're sat there with your 65-inch telly in your living room at home, you've got so much more detail than we do with a 24-inch telly in the commentary box. We have to have small TVs because there's so much going on and so many things that need to be there. If you had a bloody 55-inch TV, well, that'd be great, but you wouldn't be able to fit anything else in there.
Okay, I'll stop complaining about the team radio.
But it's one of those things. It's good for people to know what kind of is going on at the moment, and it's a thing that we're trying to work through, and we're trying to find the best solution at the moment, and we're kind of learning that way forwards. And it's just one of those things.
Fantastic. And final question: what's the funniest thing that's happened to you whilst commentating?
Oh, that's a good question. Funniest thing that's happened to me. Fallen off a few chairs in my time. That's generally a good one. I mean, I try and stand when I commentate. So for those who haven't seen me commentate, which you wouldn't obviously because it's I'm just a voice. But I rock when I commentate when I'm sitting, and I do that a lot. And I don't know quite why I do that. I've just always done it. And if I stand, I'll try and stand and crouch. But if I stand and I do that. Right. So there's always the risk of tripping over your headphones wire, which is exactly what I've just done, by the way. Or your chair goes back, or another good one as well is when your co-commentator's feeling in a particularly funny mood, and what they'll do is, you're on the back of the chair, you've got like the adjustment for the thing, so you can adjust the recliner. They'll do that, and then when I rock backwards, I go whoa like that, and then I fly backwards off my chair. So that's always a good one. Other than that, what else have I done? I don't know if I should say this. Actually, I did swear on air once last year. Actually, that was quite amusing. I didn't mean to, but fortunately, it was. I was doing British Superbikes, and we were on a commercial break. Fortunately, at the time, and I just had a slip of the tongue. I said, so there was a rider called Barry Burrell, and he was going into the corner, and he had a little wiggle on the bike. I said, slight wiggle there from Barry Burrell as he gets his bike all in a shit shape. And I was like, oh god. And just fortunately, again, commercial break, and it was absolutely fine. Had that been something like Formula E or F1 or something, I'd have probably been vilified and whatever. But I was quite fortunate that it wasn't really, so I kind of managed to get away with it.
I think your slight predecessor in Formula E, Ben Edwards. I have a distinct memory of, because in practice when on BBC F1 back in the day, they always used to go through all the tweets and everything, and I'm fairly certain Ben accidentally said bullshit live on
It's
live
a
on
non-swearing
BBC.
show.
Yeah,
Sorry, I brought the tone down, Jack. I do apologise.
No, that's why I said it through gritted teeth, so it didn't come out too loudly. But yeah, no. So it happens to the best of people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We all make mistakes, eh?
We all make mistakes. Saz, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye,
Saz.
bye,
Lovely to
bye,
meet
bye.
you. Take care.
Yeah, you do.
We got two more, and then we'll take a break, I believe. So
Right.
we'll take
shall
Adam,
we have
and then we'll
some-
do Josh last. So
Right,
do Adam
okay.
first, then Josh last.
Right. Okay. Right. Adam is in.
Adam, welcome to the FE bar. What is your question for Tom?
Thank you. It's really good to be with you guys here in the United States. So Tom, last year Formula E went to Portland International Raceway in Portland, Oregon, and this year they're going back for a double hitter. What was your take on the action last year from Oregon?
Frenetic, I think, is probably fair to say. How many overtakes were there in that race? 402 or something.
Yeah, 400.
If memory serves me, it was incredible. I am looking forward to a little bit more of that, to be honest with you. And Portland's an amazing circuit. Whatever motorsport you throw at it, whether it's IndyCar or whether it's Indy Lights or whether it's endurance racing or whatever it might happen to be, it's an incredible track. And Formula E in America is big business, so it makes complete sense from a marketing perspective for FE to be there. I'd love us to go back to a street circuit at some point, but Portland is a really cool track, so I'm looking forward to hopefully a bit more of the same chaotic, unpredictable FE racing that we saw last year.
Did you like the Portland race? Because I hated it. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, come on! It was incredible. It was incredible for me because I was doing the race with Joshua Birch on his Watch Along YouTube channel, and he and I couldn't. It was incredible. They were going 5 wide on the front stretch. You think it was when NASCAR goes to Talladega Super Speedway in Alabama, how they go 3 and 4 wide there. So my next question to you, Tom, is since I mentioned NASCAR, do you follow any other motorsports series across the world?
Yeah, several. I mean, I've always been a big Formula One fan. I have to say, Bahrain was a little bit of a snooze fest, if we're being completely honest. But I follow a lot of that. I follow British Superbikes, obviously, because I commentate on it. I follow MotoGP when I can as well. Obviously, you can't be across everything. I'm really into IndyCar at the moment. That's really, really cool because the unpredictable nature of racing is just amazing. And also, we're lucky in the UK now that we can get it on Sky Sports. With Tom Gamel filling in the ad breaks and so on. So that's really cool. I'd really like to get a bit more into NASCAR. Actually, I remember going over to America to Florida in 2011 when my dad got married. And saw an advert and a NASCAR race on the TV over there, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. And I've not been able to make it over, in the same way that I want to go to the Indy 500, but I'm always generally busy around that time of year, and this year is no exception to that, unfortunately. But yeah, I really, really would love to go and see a proper NASCAR race, and I'd love to see what that's all about, basically, and watch it on an oval.
It's called I've been several times, Tom, and it is incredible. I highly recommend going to these are the tracks I recommend you go to. If you ever want to go to a NASCAR race, you have to go to Bristol Motor Speedway in Eastern Tennessee. It's a half-mile short track. It is chaotic. It is one of the top tracks that fans absolutely love. Need to go to Talladega Super Speedway in Talladega, Alabama. They go 3 wide and 4 wide there all the way around, and you never sit down. I have gone to both tracks, and also you need to go to Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is incredible, and that's where a lot of NASCAR teams are.
Amazing. Yeah, I've got to go and do that at some point.
Adam,
I'd love to go and do. I'd love to go and watch IndyCar in the person. I know when I was doing my big year, doing Formula E season 8, when Vancouver was supposed to be with New York, I had my fingers crossed that there was going to be a race in that weekend between, but no, Mid Ohio clashed with Vancouver, with what was supposed to be Vancouver. We went to Marrakesh in the end, which was perfectly fine. First weekend in July wasn't hot at all. No. Oh no. Putting a ginger in the desert in July, not the best idea.
Was it a bit Rome last year?
I was going to say.
Yeah, no, Rome on the Sunday. That's that's the only time I've ever had the opportunity to go on the grid, but I wasn't going to turn it down because.
Well, I happen to have it on good authority that people's shoes were sticking to the tarmac. It was so hot in Rome.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
That doesn't sound pretty. Adam, it's been an absolute privilege having you on. Thank you so much for coming on. It means the world.
Yes, sir. I always enjoy being with you guys, and enjoy the rest of the Formula E season, Tom. It's really been an honor, sir.
Great to meet you, Adam. Thanks so much. Take care. Hope to see you in Portland.
I'll be broadcasting the race with our good friend Joshua Birch on that weekend.
Perfect. Right.
So,
we'll see you soon.
Thanks
Adam.
again, guys, and cheers.
Right, cheers, Adam.
So the next person that I want you to meet, Tom, is Joshua Birch. Now, Joshua Birch he's special. He's also a commentator too, who runs his own YouTube channel. And we were talking about. There's a reason why we've saved him for last, because he does Formula E watch-alongs and commentates on them as well. So this is commentator. He's a good friend. But before he asks this question, I just want to let you know that we were talking about the 24-hour races, and Josh recently did the 24 hours of Daytona. straight through. And did the, what was the Formula E race? It must have been, what was the
It
second
was
race? It's
it was
Diriyah race,
Diriyah
Diriyah 2.
2.
So he did the
Diriyah 2.
Diriyah race 2, and then he did the 24 hours of Daytona straight through. Josh, welcome
Hello.
to the FE Bar. What is your question for Tom?
First of all, you flatter me way too much, gentlemen, out there this evening as well. That's too kind, and yeah, I'm not doing that again. But I think we've got Le Mans coming up later on in the year, so that's going to be fun. Well, pleasure to talk to you finally. I know we've texted a few times when I've asked you silly questions over on commentary box stats and that lot, and you've been asked quite a lot this evening about it. So the only thing I really want to know is when the lights go out as well. Commentators usually have things they say like Crofty's got lights out, where we go. Ben Edwards had the same. Murray, of course, had the famous go, go, go. I've got a couple. I tend to stick with action. And you said as well, Bahrain wasn't exactly that exciting. I tend to agree with you. But all the people I was commentating with said, no, it was good. I was like, really? Where was the action? So have you got anything? Oh, Jack.
Yeah.
I should have really said it's lights out, good night when Bahrain started. But have you thought of anything yet to sort of, as a preload to the start, like when the lights go out, you've got a saying?
I haven't actually. Do you know, this was a big point of contention over the winter because I asked people to help me with it on Twitter, and there are a few good suggestions. There were none that sort of tickled my fancy, so to speak. But I haven't really found that line yet. And do you know, so one of my favorite commentators ever was James Allen, and I used to love his commentary. I thought he always had a bit of a poison chalice coming in after Murray because nobody's ever going to be Murray Walker, right? And don't get me wrong, every commentator has the downsides, and the thing is with commentary, it's very subjective. So I loved him because he was my childhood. My dad didn't like him because he came after Murray Walker, and he wasn't Murray Walker, right? However, I noticed that he never had a particular line when the lights went out, and there seems to be more of a, demand for a catchphrase nowadays. So, you know, like you say, Crofty seems to have one. You've got a couple. Ben Edwards had lights out and stuff like that. And, you know, everyone seems to have one. I've never had one. You know, when I do BSB, I generally go red lights on, lights out, like that. Kind of a bit Ben Edwards, actually, to be honest with you. More by luck than judgment, I hasten to add. So I've done that. I've done a couple of different sort of lines, and I've kind of been trying to find what sticks. I'm kind of just throwing a few things at the wall aimlessly, looking and thinking, okay, that works, because somebody said to me, why don't you just use "and we go green," because that was Jack's line for years. But the thing is, I don't want people to think I'm sat there imitating Jack. You know,
Yeah.
I loved Jack as a commentator, and you know, I thought he was incredible, brought an amazing voice to Formula E for, you know, getting on for 10 years. But I don't want people to think that I'm just there trying to be Jack Mark II. You know, I want to be Tom Mark I. So I don't really know what my lights out line is, and I'm still trying to figure that out at the moment. So yeah, I'm happy to hear any suggestions. If you've got a few suggestions, throw them away. Why not?
Well, I don't know. Lights out, race on has come to me if it's a bit. Say there's a race where you know there's not going to be a lot of action and you don't want to hype it up too much. And it's like there's a lot of tension in the air. I go lights out, race on, and you sort of just really drag the on bit.
Yeah.
I think Josh T just texted me actually saying do the Ben Edwards impression. That's something that comes in. I'll do it, but because there's always difference, isn't there? Because he, as you said, he does lights out, away we go, and he sort of brings it up, doesn't he? I can't do that. I think I'll explain to you. I've got a couple. So I tend to go with, if we're in a country beginning with a B, I tend to go blast off in Brazil, like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying the alliteration. Yeah, I'm trying the alliteration thing. I said it in Deary. I said, let's go dueling in the desert you know, or something like that. And, you know, the 5 red lights are on and the Deary E-Prix is underway, that sort of thing. And then I think for the second race, because it was a double header, I think I just went, because there was, I don't know if you noticed actually at the start of that one, I think there was a bit of a technical hiccup because we had so many different camera changes in the lead up to that one, and then finally we went to the lights on the grid one, and we were actually 3 lights in already. So I didn't have time to do any bloody build up. Same for Mexico actually. I didn't have time. I'd prepared a line in my head, and then by the time it kicked
Yes,
on.
yeah.
It was too bloody late. So, and the
Out of
reason that
curiosity, can you tell us the line that you were going to have at the start of the season?
I can't actually remember now. Time's
Oh, okay.
passed.
Oh, well.
Time for a masterclass in Mexico. Time for it would have been some form of alliteration. I've got no imagination, Jack. To be honest with you.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I honestly I don't know what my line should be. I'm still trying to figure that one out. But alliteration seems to work. You know, something in Sao Paulo. There'll be something there. The thing is, when it's a single header, it's kind of easy because you've got one shot at it. When you've got a double header, you're like, oh shit, I've got to do that again in 24 hours and find a completely different line to be able to try and work it. So
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's so
what
hard.
surprise in Sao Paulo? That's what's come to my head. What surprise in Sao
My,
Paulo
my,
is in store?
my brain went to Surge.
Okay.
Oh.
Surgeon.
But
Probably not a good thing to use in electric racing, though.
Yeah,
Still want to search.
yeah, no, that's,
Just a thought.
yeah.
No.
I'm only a few weekends in, Jack. I don't fancy getting the boot, mate.
I personally, I think you can have blast off in Brazil. I won't use it, so you can have it if you like.
If he
Thank
does
you.
use it,
I
I
even
know.
asked ChatGPT for a few suggestions, actually, and they were
Headhunters-
interesting.
they were.
our colleague Ed Hunter has suggested charge into action.
Charge into action. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's what I say usually as well in Formula One when the lights go out, because as you say, it was alliteration, an English lesson back in 2013 we were doing about it. I thought first race of F1 Australia, action in Australia, and it just stuck, and I've said it ever since with the lights going at F1. But it's sort of like, this is one thing you might find as well when you get one, you get scared of not saying it. So it's become like drivers have superstitions getting on one side of the car. If I don't say my line at the start of an F1 race, I feel like it's going to be a bad race. But I
Sure.
don't get it with any other series. Here's one, actually, I've figured out. Yeah, I know, I waffle. Here's what I figured out for MotoGP when the lights go out. And it's pull the throttle back and we go racing in whatever country we go. So you're pulling the throttle back instead of dropping the clutch. Just something I
Yeah,
hadn't
makes
thought of.
sense.
Makes sense.
Oh, it's annoying because Harry Benjamin has a brilliant line where it's eyes on the lights and foot to the floor, you know, which is
Yes.
which is a brilliant line. You know, that works. And the thing is, and we go green, that's brilliant because there's double meaning there. Green flag racing and green, obviously, because it's electric.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to top that, to be completely honest with you. I mean, the fact is that the legacy of And We Go Green is going to live on because they made a bloody documentary about it.
I've got the t-shirts. I got the t-shirt that came with it. So
There you
Oh,
go.
no.
So
Oh.
that's stuck in the cupboard somewhere. Josh, I'm gonna have to stop you there. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, pleasure as always. Pleasure to finally talk with you, Tom, as well. And boys, nice to see you again. And hopefully we'll chat after Sao Paulo. And good luck for your commentary as well, Tom. I know I'll be listening in the background of my headset.
Nice to meet you, Josh. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated.
Perfect.
Take care, everyone.
Right on.
There we
Helen,
go.
welcome to the FE bar. What is your question for Tom?
Hello, evening, guys.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
We're very well.
Yeah, good.
Good. I've been saying for a few weeks I was going to come on and bottled it every single time, so it's
Well,
nice to see
congratulations. You've made it for Tom.
We did it! We did it!
it.
I
It
feel
only took
honoured.
3
Thank you so
times.
much.
No, it's all good. So my question for Tom was basically, if you're traveling to a circuit, you've got to go abroad, whatever, what would be your top 3 items that you would put in your bag besides your passport?
Yeah, that's generally an important one. Actually, as you know, I have left my
Yeah.
passport on a plane once, and I had a very interesting Yeah. Oh, you've done that too, Pico.
Yeah, my last flight of season 8. I left it on the
Good
plane.
job. What happened to you? Did you get detained at
Um,
passport control as well?
No, I got to passport control. I can't find it. Went round to the BA desk. I think I left it in the seat, and they went
Yeah.
round and picked it up, and I was able to leave about half an hour later.
you see, sorry, we're going to go off on a tangent here, Helen. You got lucky there. What happened to me was I did the same thing, left it, and I'd had it out, and I was like, oh bugger, I've just left it in the pocket in the seat in front of me. Went to passport. The bloke said, look, go through to the American Airlines desk and see if you can sort it. And I was living in Spain at the time, so I'd missed my connection. I thought, oh, don't worry about it. Anyway, went there, said to the bloke, can you have a look? And he went, oh, well, they've kind of moved the plane now, and we're not really sure. And, you know, the wind's blowing from a northwesterly direction, so I don't think we can do it. And I was like, right, okay, fine. Anyway, so I then went back and I said to the bloke, like, they're not going to let me do it. He's like, look, go around there and give them fucking seeing. Sorry, excuse my
Yeah.
French. Give him a good seeing to, and see, and anyway. So I went around there and I don't like normally doing that, but dressed the bloke down, and then I walked back, and as I walked back, I looked in my bag, and I was like, "There's a secret compartment I didn't know was in here." I opened it, passport. So I went back, and I couldn't tell the truth. So I went to your man at the passport thing. I went, "Oh, you'll never guess what." Went back round there. Oh, they must have just dropped it off. Would you believe it? So my passport was there, and then I went through passport control, all fine. Back round to the American Airlines desk. Oh, mate, look, somebody must have handed it in from BA. I'm over at passport control because I've just got my passport all through. I'm so sorry for that. No, it's all fine. No. He was anyway. Then the best thing was I missed my connection to Spain. I managed to get a free connection back as well. So that was a good day by all accounts.
I would have just found my passport and ran. I was like, no, embarrassment from leaving.
It's classic Britishism, isn't it? Sorry, going
back to your question. Back to the question.
Yeah. Sorry, I did go off. 3 things to take abroad with me. Okay. So, iPad, because I can't not watch something on a plane, because generally you find in-flight entertainment is a bit samey. I've been watching a lot of Clarkson's Farm recently in preparation for the new series, because it's just a belter of a series. I love grand designs as well. I'm a real sucker for a bit of Kevin MacLeod. Started watching Breaking Bad again last night. Okay. Quite liking that. So, some good stuff there. I bought a Steam Deck this year so I can game as well. I'm really enjoying that. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5 again. So, that's a bit of an essential at the moment. And lastly, my noise-cancelling headphones. I couldn't travel without them because doing long-haul flights is... Everyone thinks traveling's glamorous, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit there and say it's as terrible as stacking shelves at Tesco or anything like that, but after a while, long-haul flights do get pretty tedious. So having noise-cancelling headphones to deal with the screaming children and Kurun Chandoks on the plane, it generally kind of helps just to make life that little bit more bearable, really.
There we go. Helen, thank you so much for being on the FE bar. Really appreciate it.
No worries, thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Helen, I'm trying to place your accent. You sound like a Geordie lad.
Yeah,
Newcastle.
not far from Newcastle.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's from the tune.
From the tune.
Up the tune.
Nice.
Yep.
I can't do it, Geordie
No. I can do. I can do generic Northern.
What are you talking about? I can't do it. I can't.
The thing is, I can only do generic Northern, but one thing I'm really good at is West Country because I watched Hot Fuzz too many times.
What? Everyone and their mums is patting around here.
yeah. All it takes me is no luck catching them killers, then, and then I'm just straight into the accent. Like no tomorrow. It just doesn't. It's just there.
You've just got to do a West Country accent. I can't help it. I can't. Well, I tell you what, Picker, we'll have a cider after this, shall we?
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Will we now?
I see you're on the Aspel. That's a good shout, that.
Yeah, nice. Love it.
We went off on a tangent again, didn't we?
No, we did. Helen, thank you so much.
Helen, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And then